Welcome to 21st Sports 2015 Season Preview for the Washington Redskins. We're going to go over the roster and the season schedule and make predictions for every single regular season game. And so let's start off with the roster. And at quarterback, you got Kirk Cousins. They also have Colt McCoy and have RG3. You got three quarterbacks, you really got none. Kirk Cousins actually was more productive last year than RG3. It's sad what's happened to the Redskins. They had so much potential in the RG3 era, but we all know the story of how they got here, and we're not going to rehash that, but they really just don't have consistent play at quarterback. And that's a big reason why they're going to struggle this year. Of course, Alfred Morris, a running back, he's solid. He's a really talented running back. He can put up 1,000 yards. Last year he had 1,074 and he had 8 rushing touchdowns. He's talented. Darrell Young's a good fullback. You got Sean Jackson. He's very capable, putting up a big season. Last year he had 1,169 yards and 6 touchdowns. Pierre Garçon is talented as well. Jordan Reed is also a very talented tight end. So they got tons of talent on this team. The one thing they're missing is a quarterback. They could also, use some help on their offensive line, but they got some good linemen too. Trent Williams is pretty good, but let's go their defense. And the defense actually is the strength of their team, even though they got all that talent on offense, but the lack of the quarterback to distribute the ball to those talented players, and even have some balance on that team. But their defense, they brought in Steven Pia from Chicago. They also brought in Terrence Knighton up front, and they had Jason Hasher. So pretty good up front. They got a little bit of depth. And then their linebacking core, is actually pretty good. You got Trent Murphy and Ryan Kerrigan on the outside, and Kerrigan is definitely one of the best players on their defense. And then you got Perry Riley Jr. and Keenan Robinson in the middle. And then in their secondary, you got D'Angelo Hall and Chris Culver is a new addition. And then you got Duke Nacho is their strong safety. That's the most fun name to say in all of sports. Duke Nacho. I could say it all day. But so then at free safety, they bring in Deshaun Golson from the Bucks, and that's a welcome addition in my opinion. It makes the secondary a lot stronger. And so they got a pretty good defense actually, and if they could get some consistent play at quarterback, they could have success. But is Kirk Cousins the guy? I don't know. Said he had just 1,710 yards last year, but he did average 273.3 yards per game. But then, the touchdown interception ratio, there was almost the same. 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. That's not too promising. Let's look at their special teams, though, real quick before going on to the schedule. And Kai Forbath is their kicker. He's a pretty good kicker. Then you got Tressway at punting. And then for the kick returns, you got Chris Thompson and Andre Roberts. And Andre Roberts will be handling the punt returns. In the past, you had Deshaun Jackson, but it looks like they've moved on from that, even though he's really talented at returning. But they really can't afford, to get him injured on, punt returns, kick returns, when he is their number one receiver. But let's go on to the schedule. Starting off in week 1, they're going to be facing Miami. It's in Washington. It's September 13th. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. All these times will be Eastern. Of course, D.C. is in the Eastern time zone. But I believe the Dolphins beat them in week 1. Dolphins are just far more talented. Week 2, September 20th, second straight home game to open the season. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. They'll be hosting the Rams. Of the Rams to come in and beat them. There's kind of similar teams away, except the Rams' defense is a lot better, even though the Redskins have a pretty decent defense, actually. Even though, it might be surprising to hear that. But if you actually pay attention, you know that the Redskins got a decent D. But so week 3, September 24th, Thursday night football, their first primetime game of the season. It's an 8:25 kickoff against division rivals, the New York Giants. And that's going to be in New York. And I believe the G-Men win that one. So then week 4, October 4th, they're going to be going against their second straight division rival. This one, though, will be in D.C. It's a 1 o'clock kickoff. That's against the Eagles, and I believe the Eagles will beat them. The Eagles are going to just put up so many points this year. And so then week 5, October 11th, 1 o'clock kickoff. They're going to be on the road against the Falcons in Atlanta. and it's going to be 2 straight road games right here, starting with the Falcons, and I believe they will lose this game. So then week 6, October 18th, they're going to be going to New York to face the Jets, and I think the Jets can beat them, and the losing streak continues. A lot of the problems they have, they're in the front office. Like I said, they got a lot of talent on their team, and they have some promise, but the front office just is always making bad decisions. It's kind of like in Cleveland. But week 7, October 25th, they'll be at home against the Buccaneers, and I think the Bucs will be a much improved team this year. It'll be interesting, too, to see Golson against his former team, but I believe the Bucs will come into D.C. and win this game. So that brings us to week 8, their bye week. When they come out of the bye week, it doesn't get any easier, as they got to go to Foxborough in week 9, November 8th, 1 o'clock kickoff against the Patriots, and the Patriots will beat them. But then, in week 10, the losing streak has finally come to an end after they're going to be 8-0 at this point, but I believe that they will beat the Saints in this game here in D.C. So they beat the Saints in week 10, and they finally leave the rank of the winless. And so then in week 11, they're going to be going to Carolina against the Panthers. It's November 22nd. That's a 1 o'clock game. And actually, at this point, I have the Panthers as having not won a game, and this is the first game the Panthers will have won. So after the Redskins win their first game in week 10, and that'll leave the Panthers as the only team left without a win, and the Panthers beat the Redskins in that game. So week 12, November 29th, 1 o'clock game against the Giants, and I believe the Giants are going to sweep the season. Well, actually, no, I have them beating the Giants, so I almost spoke too soon. Sorry, I was just so used to them losing. I was like, oh, wait, I'll win. Sorry. But yeah, so I actually have them beating the Giants and splitting the season series here. Then week 13, December 7th, Monday night game. It's their second primetime game. Their only Monday night game is they do have another Thursday night game in week 16. But here in week 13 against the Cowboys at home, I've got the Cowboys winning. I actually have them losing the rest of their games. I only have them winning 2 games and going 2-14. But anyway, week 14, speaking of 14s, there'll be December 13th, 1 o'clock game in Chicago against the Bears. I believe the Bears take this one. Week 15, December 20th, they're going to be hosting the Bills, and I believe the Bills will beat them. And then week 16, December 26th, Thursday night game, the day after Christmas, they're going to be in Philadelphia, where they boo Santa Claus. But they won't be booing their Eagles on this day, as the Eagles will win this game. It's a tough way to finish the season for the Redskins. Again, you don't know what are the schedule makers thinking. It's like the Redskins already are a losing team. You're going to put them in their final 2 weeks on the road against division rivals? And so, I mean, they're going to lose in Philly. And then week 17, they go to Dallas to face the Cowboys January 3rd. And they're going to lose that game as well. So it's at 2-14. I really don't see much promise in this team. Listen, they got a decent defense, and they got talent on offense. They just don't have consistent play at quarterback. And, of course, they got to play better on the offensive line as well and protect the quarterback. And I don't know that Gruden's the guy. And it's just, I feel like as if Dan Snyder needs to sell the team, if they're ever going to win. But if you agree or disagree, let me know in the comments section below. Either way, definitely interested to read your thoughts and opinions on the roster, the schedule, and our predictions, and what your predictions are for the Redskins in 2015. It's sad because actually I think the Redskins have some really good fans, and it sucks that a team that used to be one of the best teams in football just cannot get their act together. I mean, they really haven't been good since the days of Joe Gibbs. Of course, sans that rookie year of RG3. But let me know either way what you think. Thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day and have a great weekend. And enjoy all the sports.